Good morning, world. Good afternoon if you're listening in the afternoon, and good evening if it's the evening when you hit play. Hello and welcome to Trust the Tape. This is episode 3.6.2019. It's March 6th of 2019. The Combine is over, and we are here. I'm Jeff Kavanaugh at JC1053 on Twitter, alongside the great Dane Brugler at DP Brugler on Twitter, who made it back from Indy. Congrats on making it back, Dane.
I did. It was cold, but you know what? We did it. It was another year. It's fun. Learned a lot. A lot happened. It's always the most productive trip, this year included.
What'd you learn?
I learned that...
Could I just say, what did you learn, and then just turn the mic off and come back in 45 minutes, hit stop, and post it?
A lot of people think that Kyler Murray is going number one overall. And I'm not talking about media fans. I'm talking about personnel people. So that's interesting. A lot of different opinions on the pass rushers in this draft. A lot of variance on a lot of positions.
Can we start real quick on the Kyler thing? Because this is what's driving me nuts about the world, is the idea that, who was it? It was Kurt Warner and some Peter King quoted a, quote, renowned GM, and both of them said, oh, Josh Rosen? Yeah, that'll get you a third-round pick.
Yeah.
Is everybody high? Is that what's going on there? Because if you're trading for a quarterback who's affordable and young,
right,
the going rate is not a third-round pick. If Josh Rosen gets traded and they get a third-round pick, I'm going to quit the podcast because there's no way that's going to happen. Zero chance. Book it. He's worth more than a third-round pick.
I mean, yeah, I'd agree.
It.
He's worth more than a third, but it's not a lock they're going to get a first-rounder for him. I think they could get...
If it's a third, I quit, and you have to do the podcast. I don't know who.
I think, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm looking for a second this year and a third next year. That's what I'm looking for. So
that might work. I don't think you're
getting a first rounder.
Because Teddy Bridgewater to back up for a team for 1 year was a third round pick. If you think you're getting a starter for the next 4 years at an affordable rate,
right,
and you can get him for a third round pick, then Arizona should just keep them both.
But here's the thing: no, you can't do that.
Sure you can.
No,
Figure it out as you go. Which one you use better? I'll trade the other one later.
You will destroy your locker room and your two quarterbacks.
You can't play scared, Dane.
21-year-old, 22-year-old kids, they would not handle that well.
Which one do you think is more insecure? Which one do you think would be most
You find
sad?
out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The thing is, we don't know what teams... We know what Cardinals thought about Josh Rosen. We don't know how 31 other teams thought of Josh Rosen. There might have only been 3 or 4 teams that were seriously considering Josh Rosen in the first round. Now, you factor in a full year that you can watch him on tape and have an updated opinion. Who knows? There might not be a single team that, or maybe they're the two teams that were considering him in the first round, maybe they have their quarterback. So there's just so many, there's limited options, I think, for Josh Rosen because of how teams thought of him at this time last year. And now we have an updated opinion of who he is based on how his rookie year went. And honestly, you have to factor in that if a team is willing to unload him for a discounted rate after 1 year, what does that tell you about how the last year went with Josh Rosen in your building? Nobody knows Josh Rosen better. The 32 teams, no one knows him better than the Cardinals. And they're willing to unload him for a 5'10 electric quarterback who he's a risk. There's no question Kyler's a risk. But if that's the direction they want to go, what does that tell you about how the Josh Rosen experiment went in year one? So, I mean, people can talk all they want about how, he did this on tape, he did this. That's great. But if you don't have some concern, I mean, you have to. You have to have some level of concern there. And that's why the market value is only what, a team's willing to pay. And so the market value on Josh Rosen, again, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm looking to get a second and then hopefully another high pick, like a third, if you can get it. Maybe a conditional pick based on how much Rosen plays. But, okay.
Because if you didn't like him or if you don't like him or if you have all those concerns, I would just say you're out on him.
Sure.
My opinion would be you're out or you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in and you say, okay, yeah, you know what, that's worth it, then it's not a third-round pick. It's more than that.
Well, let's say you're the Redskins.
Unless you're the one team that's like in the entire league that's like, oh, we're interested, but we know no one else is, so we're just kind of interested.
Let's say you're the Redskins and you are in a position where you're looking for a quarterback for 2019. Alex Smith, probably not going to play. You can go with a stopgap option with the Colt McCoy, the Mark Sanchez, the Josh Johnson, the whoever else you want to pick up off the trash heap. you could go that direction this year, go with Alex Smith in 2020, and then, but you're still looking for long-term options. I mean, you go and get Josh Rosen. But again, we don't know what Jay Gruden thought of Rosen coming through the draft. And it's just there's going to be a lot of different opinions out there on that. People forget Josh Rosen was the fourth quarterback drafted last year. And so I don't think we really grasp who is interested and, how that might affect his value. So it's going to be a fascinating discussion, though, if the Cardinals do end up taking Murray, which, again, there's a lot of people in the NFL that think that's going to happen.
Did any of the quarterbacks at the Combine you feel like helped themselves?
No, not really.
That's what I'm watching. I'm just like, yep, there they are. There's the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
nothing special, nothing up or down.
Right. I don't think anyone drastically hurt themselves either. You know, and that should be a lesson to any quarterback that's thinking about throwing at the Combine. You really, unless you just totally bomb and, piss down your leg, you are not going to hurt yourself because teams understand it's a tough environment. You're throwing to receivers, a lot of timing routes, a lot of receivers you've never thrown to. The chemistry's not there. You really only have a chance to help yourself at the Combine. But really, none of these quarterbacks, I thought, took advantage of it. Now, I heard positive things about Dwayne Haskins in the interview process during the Combine. So that was positive to hear and kind of backs up what most of us thought. But that's hopefully he throws better at the pro day. And for Kyler, it comes down to the Oklahoma pro day. I don't know if I want to go to that pro day. It's gonna be such a circus. I mean, I've been to the Oklahoma pro day before.
Maybe he'll just skip that too. Just say, hey, I'm just gonna go with my game tape. See you guys at the draft.
Well, he's not gonna run. I mean, I'd be completely shocked if he runs a 40-yard dash or does any other drill. He's just gonna focus on your throwing. He came in at 207 pounds. Everyone knows that's not his playing weight. I mean, he's probably closer to 195, sub 200 pounds, and that's fine. Around 200 pounds is more than the 190 I think we all thought he'd be. So
if you could run a 4.3, why don't you run?
Because you were just setting yourself up for disappointment. Because if you run a 4.46, then it's...
Is that bad?
No, of course not. But so much about the 40-yard dash is training and, just... If you're not a track athlete, if you're not used to coming out of a three-point stance, yeah. But no, I mean, a part of me agrees with you. Lamar Jackson last year, you're fast, man. Why not run and just show it off and get people buzzing about it?
And you can, and I guess if you think you might be going number one overall, it doesn't matter. But
true,
not just random people. You can trick NFL teams. Like, guys elevate themselves at the Combine by running really fast that we already knew were really fast. And it really happens.
No,
in the NFL, it happens.
It does.
Like, guys go, oh my God, look at the speed on that. It's like you already knew he was fast, but they move up.
I struggle with this because, to steal a term from Josh Norris from Roto World, don't count it twice. But at the same time, there is sometimes when you see it live and you see it happen, like, oh man, he really is fast. Sometimes when you just see it, like, okay, I was in the stadium. The only chance I had to be in the stadium at the Combine was for the offensive line workouts Friday morning. And seeing Andre Dillard, like I saw him live at the Senior Bowl, but seeing him move compared
to OT1,
seeing him move compared to everybody else, he's a special athlete. Like his feet, his hips, his movement skills, the body control, he just moved differently than everybody else. And there's something when you see it, and that's why, I hear a lot of people talk about the Underwear Olympics and, they should be doing these drills with pads on. Seeing these guys without pads gives you a much better idea of just their athleticism and their movements, especially one after the other. So you can compare Andre Dillard to the next guy and the next guy. And so watching that live, seeing Andre Dillard move like that, I walked away saying, this guy, it shouldn't surprise anybody when he's a top 15 pick. I mean, he's 315 pounds. He's a lot bigger than we thought. He needs to get better in some areas in terms of his anchor and just handling power, but foot quickness and the movement skills, man, he's special.
So what do you want to do? You want to go position by position here, or just some of the guys that kind of headlined it and tore up the Combine?
Let's go position by position. I mean, we kind of did quarterbacks and touched on Haskins and Murray. I don't think Drew Lock, Daniel Jones, Will Greer, he might have hurt himself a little bit. I was struggling with him. My guy will be all right. Don't
worry about it. My guy will be all right. He's going to be the one non-first round quarterback that's going to end up being a starter in this league, Dane. Don't worry about my guy, Will.
Multi-year starter?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Not just a plug him or not.
Yeah. He's going to be all right. Yeah.
All right. Running
been crunching the numbers, been checking the analytics. They like my guy, Will. So I'm gonna roll with
Did you check my piece on that?
I did. Yeah, I saw your piece. Yeah,
He did okay. Actually, did okay with the analytics part of it, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Don't worry about my guy. He's going to be great.
Running backs, Josh Jacobs did not work out. Didn't do anything. So he was out.
What a jerk.
How about Devin Singletary? That was a really big surprise. He tested like a below average athlete. 4.6 speed, 3-cone was abysmal for a guy that just makes guys miss like it's nothing.
I've seen this show before, and so I want to say I don't worry about it at all, but I don't worry about it much with running backs.
With running backs.
With running back, I think I trust the tape more than the workout, more than any other position.
I'd agree.
I've seen him play.
Right.
It's not like a running back has to line up directly across from somebody and beat them in any way. Your job is to play your position, which is totally different. So I wouldn't worry about it because I remember Dalvin Cook tested as a bad athlete. And I said, that's fine. Anybody can say that if they want to. I said, he can fly and I'll take him and he's going to be good. And he was. And he will be. And he's going to be.
That's fair.
So Singletary, whatever. I won't move him.
Where'd you have him?
He'll be fine. Second round.
Yeah. So did I.
And I'm going to leave him there.
Number 2 running back?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to move him.
I agree. I mean, part of it makes me question the level of competition. He didn't face the big time defenses, and that factored in the original evaluation. But now, after below average testing, it makes you wonder a little bit more. So go back and revisit his tape a little bit. But I lean towards what you're saying. Especially for and that's the thing. These drills, they matter from position to position, and I agree with you when it comes to running back. So much more about that position is instinctive, it's vision, it's the ability to process.
How you deal with getting hit and keep running.
Right.
You're not going to be able to measure my tackle breaking in these drills.
Making split-second decisions, yeah, no question. So I would tend to agree with you there. Any other running? Justice Hill had a pretty good workout. Not that I think anybody expected anything else. Miles Sanders did really well. Just wish Miles Sanders could hold on to the football. He's got a fumbling problem. David Montgomery didn't test well, but we didn't really expect him to. So I don't know. I don't think any of these running backs really did much to necessarily change my original opinion of them. I mean, maybe Justice Hill. He was my, I think, number 11 running back. Maybe I bump him up a spot or two just because I in the right fit. I think he could be a nice complimentary back. But
whichever one of these running backs goes to a team that passes the ball a lot and passes it really well is going to be an awesome running back because they're running backs.
Sure.
That's how it works.
All right.
Go to Pittsburgh, go to Kansas City, and whoever you are, you'll be fine.
Wide receiver.
DK is probably the story, DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Looks like he was made in a laboratory.
Which one is the story? That he has not enough body fat. He should technically be dead if that's a real number. So I don't think he really has 1-point-something% body fat. But yeah, they used his comp on TV was the Batman suit.
Gosh.
So what was he 6'3", 228?
Yep.
And ran a 4.33.
Yep.
So he's a freak. And now I've seen video of him run the 3-cone drill, and he can't change direction at all.
Nope.
To save his life. But he can sure run fast, and he can sure power through people, and he can sure toss around cornerbacks, and he can hurt you down the field. It's weird because I think most of the time now in the NFL, what I'm looking for, like if I wanted to go in recent years, like the prospect that it's like, all right, I want one that looks like that. It would be Stephon Diggs. I want the route runners. I want the guys who are going to get me separation, and he's not that.
That's why we like Calvin Ridley so much last year.
But his raw tools are so good that you almost are scared not to have him as your number 1 wide receiver.
Right.
There's guys in this class that I really like as route runners, but I don't think I can put him in front of this guy, even though he can't turn at all.
I mean, he's kind of like almost like Ted Ginn if he was on steroids.
He's going to run goes, slants,
exactly.
Stop.
He's a straight line athlete.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, he can still be a big play weapon at the NFL level as a straight line guy. It's just you have to temper expectations for what he's going to be. He's not going to be Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon could do a lot more than just run in a straight line. And this matches what he did on tape. Like that's what Ole Miss asked him to do, and that's what he did, and he did a fine job at it. But it boggles my mind how people are excited about the 40 and the vert and the jumps, but not concerned about the 3-cone of the short shuttle. Like you can't pick and choose which numbers are going to be, especially with receivers.
I mean, his short shuttle and 3-cone were only worse than Tom Brady's.
Like and you go back and you can find a wide receiver who had a bad 3-cone. You can find a receiver who had a bad short shuttle. It's hard to find a productive NFL receiver who had both a below average and way below average 3-cone and a short shuttle. So Jarvis Landry, it happened to him, and that's the list. That's where the list about ends. So you can't find many examples of productive NFL wide receiver. I'm not saying DK Metcalf cannot be a productive NFL receiver. I absolutely think he can. There is a point in the first round where I would take him, but people saying, "Oh, top 10 now." Why? What do we know about DK Metcalf now that we didn't before? We know he's big and he's fast, and that's what he can do. But he's not a natural pass catcher. He's not a natural route runner. And if you combined A.J. Brown, who is a natural pass catcher, is a natural route runner, and DK Metcalf, you'd probably have the perfect wide receiver prospect. But, we don't have that. And so, yes, I would take DK Metcalf at some point in the first round because I think he could be a big play weapon at the next level, especially vertically. But and I think that he can grow as a receiver. It's not like the book is completely written on him. He's still a young player. But everyone's saying that he's top 10 now or, excited about the 40 without having a little bit of concern about the change of direction stuff. It's confusing.
I think I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but I think, and I believe it, I don't think I'm not going to have a first-round graded receiver.
I don't blame you. Not at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any.
And what have we been saying this entire year? There's not.
And I like a lot of them. We were talking about this before we went on the air. I've got a list of 14 guys that I like between the second and third rounds.
Yeah,
we talked about. Here's 14 of them.
We talked about this in October. How there really wasn't a top 25 receiver, or at least a lock top 25 receiver.
Metcalf's not perfect, obviously. Hollywood Brown is hurt. Preston Williams is off the field. And then I'm down to Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown and Deontay Johnson at Toledo and Riley Ridley and N'Keal Harry. And then I got my little slot guys. Then I got my speed guys, Paris Campbell and Emmanuel Hall. And it's like, I got all these names. And DK Metcalf's not going to be the one I feel the best about having a productive career.
Right.
I don't feel like I would have better odds that he's productive than his teammate, A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. There's a potential that he goes and gets me 18 touchdowns in a season. So it's like, okay, I get the value. I get why you would value it.
Right.
But he's also, man, I played wide receiver at a really low level, Dane. I need you to know how to play the position.
Yes,
not
absolutely.
Just run, jump, and throw people around.
That's why, we love Calvin Ridley because he was a polished route runner. And that's why I think we both like Riley Ridley. Not in the first, but as a guy that can be a productive NFL receiver because he's a polished route runner, not an elite athlete, but so much of the difference between once you get to the NFL level is technical skill. Like, it's a big difference. Offensive line, defensive line, corners, wide receivers, doesn't matter your position. Technical skill is a huge part of being in the NFL. It's because everybody's big, everybody's fast, everybody's a premier athlete in the NFL. It's, the technical skill that really separates a lot of guys. So, and especially wide receiver. I think Paris Campbell, wouldn't be shocked to see. I mapped out my mock draft. I actually submitted it. I don't think it's going to be up until Friday, though. He came in the first round to the Raiders at 27, which I'm fascinated by that. I'm crossing my fingers that Raiders take a receiver at 27.
Wait, Al's not still with us.
Yeah, but it's just, John Gruden's
and you
going to
picked
love
the
that.
Fast guy.
John Gruden's going to love that speed. But I'm hoping for a wide receiver at 27.
Oh, just so we can compare him to Amari Cooper forever?
Yeah, exactly. Amari Cooper, Paris Campbell, how do they compare the rest of their careers? Any of these other receivers really stand out to you? Emmanuel
the
Hall.
Notre Dame guy I thought really helped himself and made me...
Miles Boykin.
Right. So while I'm watching the Combine and just looking over some of the numbers, Miles Boykin I looked at and I was like, holy cow, those are really good numbers. So I hadn't studied him yet, so I did. And I was like, oh, okay. I think you couple the tape with that workout and suddenly you're interested on day 3.
Yeah.
Maybe the 4th or 5th round you start looking at. So... to me, that's what the Combine can do for you and should do for you. It's very rare that I'll take a guy and be like, got to drop him 3 rounds.
Little Jordan Humphrey and his 4.7.
That hurts. That
a little
hurts.
bit.
But we already knew it.
Yeah,
we
he's
may not
basically
know
a tight
4.7.
end.
We thought 4.6.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you one. Isaac Nauta.
Yeah.
Georgia
tight
end. He ran a 4.9.
Yeah.
How far do you drop him?
That's a good question.
Because based on his tape, I haven't changed my opinion that he's going to play tight end in the league for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
I still think he will.
Yeah.
So what do you do with him? We're in a 4.9.
Right.
That's not good.
Not good at all. What grade you have on him?
I had him in the second.
Yeah. That's tough.
Now I got him in the third.
Yeah,
I moved him a little bit.
I had him in the third, and now maybe it's a 3-4. Or, that's tough because I thought he'd run much faster than he did. But yeah, with Miles Boykin, he plays athletic, but he doesn't play fast. I didn't think. Like, there are times where you see it, but not consistently. You didn't consistently see 4.42 speed, and especially from a guy that's 6'4", 220. Now, again, you see the athleticism, especially when the ball's in the air. He can adjust, he can track, he can go get the football, but I didn't see 4.42 speed on a consistent basis from him. I wish I did, but we didn't.
Yeah, and I don't know if he really knows totally what he's doing playing the position.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of these guys just look really natural when you're in a route, and now, okay, there is a defender in the way of my route. How do we handle this? How do I set him up? How do I get around him? How do I avoid contact? And he, like a lot of other guys, I feel like is just kind of running. Where it's just like, well, yeah, my route is a post, so I'm just going to run this direction, and here we go. But I think, having that sort of workout probably gives a team hope that there's something there to work with and try to turn him into a contributing NFL receiver.
Exactly. And that's, these workout times, they don't just bump guys up a couple rounds, but teams draft traits, and the traits are what we see at the combine, and that helps teams just give them optimism that there's more there. And to me, I did my combine wrap up, and there were 3 categories: risers, fallers, and guys that are sending evaluators back to the tape. And Miles Boykin is just like DK Metcalf is at the third category, sending evaluators back to the tape just to get a better idea about how that athleticism translates to the football field.
Oh, man. I wrote something about Cole Beasley this morning, and it went up about an hour ago, and now he's tweeting, "Everybody's telling me what I'm worth. Let's just wait and see." I'm sorry, Cole. I didn't mean to say that about you.
Was he reacting to your article? I don't know. Does he have an athletic subscription?
Well, he is a Google your own name guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and his name I think is in the title. Like, if Cole Beasley's going to get $20 million guaranteed, it'll be elsewhere. So here's some guys you can look at.
He's not going to get $20 million guaranteed, is he?
That's what he says he wants.
I know that's what he wants, but
I want it too.
No one's going to give him that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, anything else on receivers?
No, I mean, the guys that ran fast, or that we thought would run fast, ran fast. Mecole Hardman ran fast. Andy Isabella. Manuel Hall, who, if Manuel Hall could stay healthy, like, if he had the toughness to stay on the football field, like, I worry about that because, these hamstring issues, the groin issues, I mean, he had to pull out of the combine because of it. If he could stay on the football field, this guy would be, in my opinion, top senior receiver in this draft. Ahead of Debo, ahead of Paris Campbell, ahead of all those guys. But I just can't trust him to stay on the field, and that is going to knock him down a little bit at least. So Darius Slayton, who not enough people are talking about, he has a chance to go in the top 100 picks. He had a really good workout. Terry McLaurin from Ohio State, not to be lost with Paris Campbell. He had a really good workout. Some guys that ran slow, at least slower than we thought. Lil Jordan Humphrey in the mid 4.7s. Jacoby Myers, I thought he'd run a little bit better than that. But I think overall, these wide receivers, they showed well, helped themselves.
Tight end. We mentioned Georgia's tight end, Isaac Nauta, did not have a good workout because a 4.9240 is not going to help an NFL tight end.
Anything changed at the top for you in terms of the 2 Iowa guys and the Alabama guy?
No, because if you change something, once again, it means you counted something twice.
Yeah.
Noah Fant had an awesome workout because he's an awesome athlete.
4.50 40, 6.81 3-cone.
And
silly.
Irv Smith and TJ Hawkinson had solid combines because they're solid athletes.
Yeah.
So what you saw on tape is what you saw on tape.
I thought Irv Smith tested a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
I was surprised. He was shorter. He was under 6'3". I thought he'd be a little bit taller than that. And he didn't test as well as I thought. Now I'm not going to move him, but he's not a guy who I think should be in the first round conversation. I didn't think so before, but I thought, maybe if a team needs a tight end and Fant and Hawkinson are off the board, maybe you take Irv Smith in the late first. But I don't. After the combine, I'm not feeling like that anymore. I'll tell you, a guy who needs to be talked about more is Kahale Waring from San Diego State. This is a guy who helped himself at the combine, and he was creating buzz before the combine. And I wrote about him in my wrap-up. You can find out more about his background. But basically, this guy didn't touch a football until his senior year in high school. Played every single sport besides football. Goes to San Diego State as a walk-on. He didn't even know how many players were supposed to be on the field at the same time. This guy's really raw, but he's a really good athlete. You see the natural athleticism. I think he's put himself in that top 100 mix, possibly borderline top 100 for a team looking for a big upside tight end. Doesn't have to play right away, but down the line, you're going to have something special. So I think Waring helped himself. Knox ran okay. Sternberger was okay. I don't know. None of these other tight ends really, I thought. I mean, Caden Smith was, I thought, a little below average. Not that we expected him to be a world-class athlete. But
UCLA tight end ran well just because he wants me to have to keep tripling down and being like, I don't think he's a good prospect.
He's not a good prospect. I don't know.
But he ran well.
Caleb Wilson is not a good prospect.
No,
Sorry.
he's not.
The tape is not good.
He's got stats. He's got some stats, and he ran well, though. So now I'm in trouble with UCLA fans.
No thanks. Foster Moreau did a nice job.
He had a nice combine.
Yeah, I think Josh Oliver, Drew Sample, a couple of good seniors in this group. So it's a pretty deep tight end group, not necessarily the strongest in terms of top 75 guys. I mean, I think Hawkinson, Fant, Irv Smith go top 75. Maybe Jay Sternberger gets in there. But beside that, I'm not sure that's going to be a strong tight end group in the first 2.5 rounds.
Okay, so now we are moving on to our offensive lineman. You mentioned Dillard, the Washington tackle. He had a great combine.
Yeah.
On the field stuff looked really, really good.
Really impressive.
Who else in that group jumped out to you?
I thought
the NC State center had a good combine.
Yeah, he was awesome. He's in my updated mock draft. I'm going mid-first round. If you need especially if you're a zone team, zone blocking scheme, if you need a center, just draft Garrett Bradbury in the first, and you have the position locked up for the next dozen years. Jonah Williams, I thought, looked good. He's to me, he's a top offensive lineman in this draft. I thought all the tackles did a nice job. Greg Little was up and down. You're gonna have to really trust the tape on him. Cody Ford, Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor didn't do a full workout because of his injury, but what he did do, he looked good. Yadni Kajus from West Virginia. I don't know. People are way higher on him than I think NFL teams are. I don't get it with him. But
what was his workout like, Dane? Pretty good?
I don't remember his times, but his workout kind of matched his tape. Like, it's all over the place. He's unbalanced. He's out of control. He moves okay. Like, you can see he's a former basketball athlete, but he's all over the place. And I don't know. I need my blockers to have some type of balance. Max Sharping did all right. Caleb McGarry did okay. I heard a lot of negative things about Chuma Edoga in terms of how he interviewed and maturity. And so, really talented guy, but man, the football character is going to be a deal breaker for some teams.
Well, how about that Florida pass rusher? How did his interviews go? I heard he didn't. He said
not
he
in my
doesn't
first round anymore.
He said he doesn't watch tape of himself.
He's some of the words that I was told by multiple sources. One used temperamental, another used train wreck. So,
oh no!
Yeah, those are not the.
No!
When you want to talk about T words, you want to hear terrific. You want to hear totally awesome. Not train wreck and temperamental. So that's what the Jachai Polite was. That's how his interviews went, and we talked about this going into the combine. Character was an issue, and I heard from Florida fans, well, he's never been arrested. His teammates love him. The coaches speak highly of him, and my only answer to
he ran a bad 40. His body looked sloppy. He said he doesn't watch himself on tape, and he didn't interview well.
My only answer to that was, I don't know what to tell you except teams are telling me that the football character and the personal character is kind of a mess. And so I've never talked to him. I'm just telling you what NFL teams are telling me, and this is before the combine. Now, and I wrote it was part of his profile in my pre-combine rankings. Now, after the combine, that holds true. Did not do well in the interview portion. And then, you mentioned he came in 16 pounds heavier than when he was listed out of Florida. Goes out, runs a 4.8, jumps poorly, and then bows out, citing a hamstring. So it's going to come down to his pro day. Now, if he can get in better shape for a pro day and run better, then that's going to help. But still, there's more questions than anything else with Jachai Polite, and that could absolutely knock him out of the first round.
Okay, I guess we are kind of to that portion of the broadcast here where we're on the edges. Everybody, like Bosa, great. You look great. Moved great. You were great.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, you look great. Move great.
Rashawn Gary wasn't necessarily the freak we thought, but still, 40 was great. 10 yards was great. Montez Sweat was the freak.
Destroyed the combine. Montez Sweat.
Does that change your opinion at all about him?
I know. Now, he was even more athletic than I thought, but going back to the common theme, I'm not going to count anything twice. Watching him on tape, you knew that he ran really, really, really well.
Yeah.
You knew that he could run around people and hit quarterbacks. You knew that he could chase the ball and make plays.
He plays the run well.
So it makes sense with who he is physically that he's going to go in the first round. I had him as a second-round guy, but it doesn't matter because if you're an edge rusher with those tools, you get picked in the first. There's no doubt about it.
So if you need a pass rusher in the top 15 picks, you wouldn't take him?
If he's the next one up. Once Bosa's gone.
You're taking a second rounder over a first rounder?
Allen is gone. Well, let me think about it. Let me see here. It depends on my team.
Yeah.
It depends on my team. I wouldn't want to. I'm trying to think who he would be going over that I have a first round grade on.
I don't know what people don't like about him. He's not.
I feel like he's
not Von Miller when I talk about bend. He's not that type of
he's
bendy
not bendy
guy.
He's just run around you and then run fast to where he's going. I just felt like that dude got blocked a lot.
Sure.
Like when you run the ball, Kansas State they blocked him. God, he just got blocked. I don't like my defensive ends getting. I don't want you to be able to be sustained on. Once somebody is blocking you, get rid of them. But the pass rush is what's the premium there. So
last 2 years, only Josh Allen has more sacks in college football.
I get it. I totally get it. He's an incredible athlete. He's going to be able to affect the quarterback. That matters big time. So he gets to go in the first round.
Who do you like better, him or Brian Burns? Talking about a guy that can't get off blocks.
Yeah.
Brian Burns is a liability in the run game.
Yeah.
That worries me. Now, I like the bend. I like the athleticism as a pass rusher, and that's why he's going first round. But, you watch him against Max Sharping in Northern Illinois. He was controlled the entire game. Once a blocker is able to get their hands on him, it's kind of done. So, I like Brian Burns. I love the athleticism, but I don't know. There's some questions there.
Well, the guy that I was trying to get to play defensive end had a combine that said I can't take him in the top 2 rounds anymore.
Polite?
No, my guy at TCU.
Oh, LJ Collier.
It's like, man, that is a weird build you got going on, and that wasn't a good workout.
Well, I saw him. I saw his weigh in at the Senior Bowl, and he was sloppy there.
Yeah.
And when I watched his tape, I liked him, but I didn't see much bend from him, and that's why. And I think that showed in the 3-cone. His 3-cone was abysmal. So I still like LJ Collier. I gave him a late second-round grade. Maybe that it pushes him to the early third. I don't know, but he's still a late 2, early 3 for me.
Well, see you, LJ. I was on your side, but now I got to move on.
These defensive tackles, Quentin Williams tested, I think, even better than expected.
Yeah, after a breakfast of 4 double-stuffed Oreos.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, he had 4 double-stuffed Oreos, then went out and ran a 4.87. His agent said, go ahead and shut it down. You're good. He said, no, I'm going to run again. And he ran a 4.83.
Yeah. Dude is so good.
That was a safe pick. That's a safe pick.
Stats, tape, testing. Quentin Williams kind of got it all. He's a young guy, but besides that, I'm not sure what you don't like about Quentin Williams. If you think he's the top player in this draft, I'm not going to argue with you. I think it's Nick Bosa, but if you don't have Quentin Williams with a top,
they're both safe.
If you don't think he's one of the top 2 players in this draft, I highly disagree with you. Let's just leave it at that.
I think between Bosa, Williams, and Hawkinson, those are the 3 that I would say once you picked them. Great job.
Feel good.
Shut it down. You made a great pick. You're safe. They're going to be great. You're good.
Ed Oliver jumped really well. Unfortunately, did not run. We'll see. Have to wait for his pro day to do that. Dexter Lawrence, man, seeing him in person up close. He's one of the most impressive looking players I've ever seen in my life. Like his shoulders are so broad. His body is so filled out. Like he carries it so well. Like he's not overweight.
What about Sean Oakman? Is it better than Sean Oakman was?
He started popping up on my timeline recently.
Well, yeah, he was found not guilty of something, so people are trying to get him back in football.
But Dexter Lawrence is so impressive, just physically looking. Like that's what you want your defensive lineman to look like. And then he went out at 240 plus pounds and ran a 5.04. Just ridiculous. Had the most bench press reps of anybody at the combine this year. I think it was at 36. So, Dexter Lawrence tested like a freak. He's going to be really interesting because he doesn't give you much pass rush value on tape, but you think there's upside there to be better in that area. We'll see. So where he lands in the first round, if he lands in the first round, will be interesting. Draymond Jones was really disappointing.
That made me feel good.
He's a splash player on
I don't
tape.
ever want to cheer against a young person. I want everybody to be rich and be an awesome player. But I never saw what everybody else was seeing from him.
You didn't think he could split gaps and rush after? Get after the quarterback. He showed he could do that.
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a flash player who.
I watched the guy stand straight up and just get blocked a ton, and once in a while he would get between a gap. And I heard people talking about the first round, and I was just like, "What is that? The guy? I'm watching the same guy."
But your issues were more power and technique, right?
Yeah.
But he tested like a very poor athlete. And that's what it is confusing because he plays quicker and better, more athletic than what he tested, especially for a guy, again, 281 pounds. Like, you expect much better than what Draymond Jones did. So I thought he was definitely a faller from what he put on, what he did at the Combine. Jerry Tillery tested really well. Again, the problems with Tillery, he's a first-round talent. Teams are just going to be concerned about the football character and stuff like that. So we'll have to see where Tillery lands. Kalen Saunders from Western Illinois continues to rise throughout the process. One of the top small school guys this year. Who are these defensive tackles did well?
Yeah, they're D tackles. They don't do well. They just showed up and they were D tackles.
Kevin Givens from Penn State, former linebacker. Who
was there anybody in there that really jumped where you were like, oh man, I do need to go go check the tape again?
Among the defensive tackles?
Yeah. Did anybody really do some really, really solid numbers where it's like, oh, let me check that out?
Yeah, I think Kevin Givens, I want to give him more of a shot. He doesn't have great tape, so I'm going to go back and just see how much that athleticism really translates. I thought it did some, but he might be better as a base end. But some of the guys, it was more the other way, where guys did not really impress me, but I like their tape. Like Isaiah Buggs from Alabama. Like him, but he has not. I didn't like what he did at Senior Bowl. I didn't like what he did at the Combine. I need to go back to the tape and make sure that if I'm trusting the tape, that I'm trusting what I saw initially and not maybe, I didn't miss something. So Bugs, definitely I need to go back and watch.
At linebacker, the Devons win.
They're both.
The Devons win the day. And
I've been hung up on Bush and his lack of size and lack of length, because you do see it at times. I don't care, man. Just get him on my team. I don't care. He's a top 20 pick, top 15 pick maybe in this draft. I'm Devin Bush, man. And I like Devin White. I worry about him in coverage. I like Devin Bush better in coverage. But he can move really well, and you're going to project him forward. So both these linebackers, White and Bush, are top 20 picks in this draft.
And then who is the other guy that kind of showed up and had a great combine that you had in your top 10 linebackers?
Blake
already?
Cashman from Minnesota. Yeah. He's fun. He was a special teamer, reserve the first 3 years. Became a starter as a senior from Minnesota. Racked up over 100 tackles in 12 games. And you see the athleticism. He moves well.
He's going full Van Der Esch here?
No.
Show up, start for a year, and then
no,
awesome
he's
combine?
not that. He's more of a third, fourth round type of guy. He does not have long arms, and that you see that quite often when he tries to take on blocks and struggles to shed and stay free. That happens quite a bit on tape. But terrific athlete. I think at worst you're getting a big time special teams player, but I do think that he can give you meaningful snaps in the NFL. So that's why I included him in my top 10. He was number 9, number 8, number 9, I believe, my pre-combine linebacker rankings, and he's not going to drop from there. That's for sure.
Okay, in the secondary. I know that his agent on Twitter told everybody this was going to happen, and so I checked his name and watched his tape before the Combine. Jamel Dean, I know, ran really well at Auburn corner. Did he have a good full workout? I know the 40 was great.
Yeah, and he was a guy that was on my radar for a while because he went to Ohio State. Okay, he's a big-time recruit, went to Ohio State. They medically failed him because he had 2 knee injuries in high school. So they said, basically, we don't want you. And he was able to sit out, resurface at Auburn, suffered another knee injury. So he's had 3 major knee injuries before he even started a college game. Stayed healthy the last 2 years. And then he was on Bruce Feldman's freak list before the college football season started as one of the biggest freaks, as he ran a 4.31 and had all these great numbers. And so, I think it was expected that he'd run well. The tape doesn't necessarily show a 4.30 athlete. It shows a good athlete. I didn't see necessarily 4.30. But the medicals with Jamel Dean are going to be the biggest thing with 3 major knee injuries in his past. How the doctors and the medical staffs deal with that would be a big factor.
How'd you feel about the top guys at corner? I thought for DeAndre Baker, I would have. He's my top corner.
Is he?
Yeah. I don't feel great about any of them. I like Greedy.
Yeah.
I like DeAndre Baker. I like Byron Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I like them all.
Rock Ya-Sin?
I like Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah.
But so like for Baker, I was like 4-5-3. Okay, that works. It's good enough for the way that you play. For Murphy, 4-5-5. Did he better that in his second run? I know he had a 4-5-5 on the board.
4-5-5 was official.
Okay, where it's like, okay, that's not great.
No, and plus you're 5'10".
Yeah, and then Greedy did run great.
4-3-7.
Greedy is less physical than I am at football, and I haven't played in 15 years.
Yeah, that's the big knock. You worry about the competitiveness. He leaves production on the field, but 4.37, he's long, and he's a smooth athlete and teams are also worried about kind of the background stuff and who's in his camp, who's advising him, different family dynamics, things like that. So Greedy, we might not see a corner on the top 20 picks this year, which hasn't happened in a couple decades. So when you look at it, I agree with you. Williams, Byron Murphy, Baker, Rock Ya-Sin, I like these guys in the late first, but it's, don't love any of them in the top 10, top 15, top 20. Some of these other guys, Joejuan Williams from Vanderbilt.
Whoops.
Man, we knew he wasn't really fast. I mean, you could say, I posted a few clips on Twitter. Like, we knew he wasn't fast. He gets beat. If he doesn't make contact at the line of scrimmage, he gets beat vertically. But, man, you can't go out there running the high 4.6s and expect to go in the first 50 picks. It's not going to happen. So, Joejuan Williams is going to be interesting. I think teams will go back to the tape to just see how much the speed affects him. Julian Love was average, which we expected in the long stuff, but looked good in the short area quickness drills. Sean Bunting, more people need to talk about. I'm a big fan of his from Central Michigan. Isaiah Johnson from Houston is going to get way overdrafted because he's huge and he's a really good athlete. Just extremely raw as a prospect. David Long from Michigan, have to mention him. A guy on tape doesn't get a lot of action, but you see in that Don Brown defense, he asks those guys to get physical, and he does that. But because he played a lot of press, because he played a lot of man-to-man, you didn't really get a chance to gauge that athleticism. Well, you got to see it at the combine. He ran a 4.45. The 3-cone was
like a 6.4.
Yeah, 6.45, which is sick.
That's not real.
No, the average in the NFL for corners is
got to be like 6'8", 6'9".
Hold on, let me pull it up here.
Okay, Dane, stopping the show.
The average corner 3-cone serial is 6.94.
Okay,
I took the top 30 players at every position and got their averages for all their testing. And the top 30 corners in the NFL, the average is 6.94. So that's silly quickness. I think I looked up as the 4th best 3-cone time at any position over the last 2 decades. So not bad. Have yourself a day, David Long. Other corners, Kendall Sheffield, who was my pick to run the fastest 40, unfortunately.
Hurt his boob.
The day before benching, tore the pec or is a partial tear. Unfortunately, he is done. He won't be able to work out prior to the draft. Mark Fields from Clemson, I thought, did well. He did not have this big-time career at Clemson, but he looked good at the Senior Bowl, look at the Combine. I'm going to do more work on Mark Fields. Overall, this corner group, nothing crazy, nothing that really impressed you, but some solid workout in there, which you would expect. They're the best athletes on your football team.
And the safeties. Was Jonathan Abram kind of lit it up, or was that just a 40 time?
Yeah, he did well, and I mean the vertical was average. I think it was like 33 and a half. Yeah. I mean, but I think you know exactly what Jonathan Abram is. I'm a fan. I think he's top 3 or 4 safety in this group. Nasir Adderley and Deontay Thompson did not work out. Taylor Rapp did not run a 40, but he ran really well in the other drills. And he had a sub-4 short shuttle, which is good to see. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did well. Darnell Savage ran really well, 4 threes. Juan Thornhill, 44-inch vert, not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Amani Hooker ran a lot better than I think a lot of people expected, so that was good to see. Really, the safeties, I thought the ones that worked out helped themselves. Adderley and Deontay Thompson did not. But who's your top 3 safeties in this group?
I like Adderley. I like Abram and Rapp. I actually have not done Thompson yet.
Okay.
I'm short on safeties at the moment. But I did like Adderley, I like Abram, and I like Rapp.
Okay. Those are my top three.
Are they?
Adderley,
Okay.
Rapp, Abram. Then I have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, then Deontay Thompson, then Juan Thornhill, Savage, Amani Hooker. So, it's a pretty solid group of safeties depending on what you want. There's a little bit of something for everybody.
All right, Dane, we're done today. We ran out of time.
It was a good show.
It was a great show. Thanks for stopping by for the Combine Show. That's Dane Brugler at DP Brugler. You can find him on The Athletic. I'm Jeff Kavanaugh. You can find me on 105.3 The Fan in DFW and on The Athletic DFW at JC 105.3 at DP Brugler. We will see you next week on Trust the Tape.